Well, Anna, maybe you could read that
No,
one.
absolutely not. You could not pay me money to do that. Welcome to the Book Angle, where we talk about books from different angles and sometimes go in circles. I'm Anna, and this is Sabrina. And today we are about halfway through March. So we decided today that we were going to take time to kind of do a reading recap for the first portion of the year and check in on our reading goals and kind of look back at what we've read so far.
Yeah, we're having our Q1 update in our
Yeah.
business world. How did quarter one go for you? Well, first, what are your goals for the year?
Yeah, so I set a goal of 60 books for 2024, which is actually 10 books less than my goal from 2023 because I didn't meet my goal in 2023. So I am going for a little bit of a shorter goal. And I'm so far doing great with it. So Goodreads is telling me that I'm 4 books ahead of schedule. Usually that starts to slow down about halfway through the year
Mhm.
when life catches up to me and things get really busy for us in the summer. But right now I'm doing great. I'm 14 books in.
Wow. I just realized that Goodreads does tell me that. So I just clicked on mine. So my reading goal was 50 books. That was my same goal as last year. But right before the year ended, Anna and I were like, let's read Crescent City. It took away. I didn't meet my goal. However, that was like 3 books in one. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I basically did, but for the sake of trying again, reading 50 books. I finished, I've read 11 so far, and I'm halfway through a 12th. So, according to Goodreads, I am 3 books ahead of schedule. So, I am doing well. I will say that 2 of my books were graphic novels. They still count, but I think combined might have been more like one, you
Hmm.
know?
Just the length of them is shorter.
Yeah, the length is a lot shorter, lots of pictures. So I was like, it still counts because I still read 2 books, but I don't know if I would have been 3 books ahead of schedule if I hadn't read some graphic novels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are one of your favorite books that you've read so far?
Well, okay, there's 2 things that I want to note about my reading for this year. So I read 14
Okay.
books, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those 14 have been by T. Kingfisher. So, um,
So do I need to do my thing where I talk to her again? Hey,
uh,
Teen Kingfisher.
yeah, so if you can't tell I like you. Also, I've read 4 books by Holly Black, and I'm about to read a fifth one that just came out today. So
Yeah.
that it's been a lot of Holly Black and a lot of T. Kingfisher for me for this year.
Well,
Um,
you're reading a series for Holly Black, so I think that makes sense.
yeah, and I was also reading a series for Kingfisher. I reread her Saint of Steel series,
Mhm.
which the because I found out that she just quietly published the 4th book in that series. Didn't do any social media marketing for it. Just quietly put it on Amazon and was like, "It's out there." And I was like, "How did I not know that this had happened a month ago?" So I had to reread the first 3 so that I could then read the fourth with that fresh in my memory. Um,
Mhm.
so that had to happen. And then I reread The Cruel Prince so that I could read the Stolen Heir duology.
Mhm.
And that I think The Cruel Prince has been my highlight of the year so far. That
Mhm.
trilogy, because I was not expecting to like it as much as I did on the second read. I knew that I enjoyed reading it the first time, but I rated the first book 3 stars the first time I read it, and I literally said shame on you in my Goodreads review afterwards when I reread this again because I bumped my score up to a 5 because it
Mhm.
was so much better on a reread. Um, so
Yeah.
that's been my highlight of the year was that trilogy. I think.
That's so fun. I really, that is going to be on my list of something I want to read this year because also since we've talked about it, either social media is listening to us, but now I'm getting bombarded with a bunch of stuff from Cruel Prince. And so I'm like, okay, is it resurging because of this next duology, or is this just a sign that I really need to read it? So I think it's a
I
sign.
think it's a sign. Yeah.
I think so. Um, so. I'm looking. I was like, did I read a bunch by Team Kingfisher? I only read one by Team Kingfisher. Uh, so starting out the year, I actually finished up rereading the Percy Jackson series. And so I read three books from Rick Riordan at starting off the year. I read The Titan's Curse, Battle of the Labyrinth, and Last Olympian. I still very much enjoyed the series this time around, but I will say that The Titan's Curse is my least favorite book in the entire series. I just felt like it went on forever. Bianca annoyed me. I just was having some issues with her. And it just kind of ended. But I could see how it propelled and set up for the rest of the series. But what I wasn't expecting was that The Last Olympian, the final book in the series, was actually probably better than The Lightning Thief for me. And I was not expecting that. And I don't remember liking it this much the first time I read it. But most of the books in that series, every single chapter focuses like on a new monster or a new aspect of the quest. So it almost feels like it could have been a serial series where like you had to wait for the next week for the next
Mm-hmm.
part of your story. But The Last Olympian's not like that. It's a full fleshed out, the war is happening, they're battling things, and he actually did the battle scenes really well. Percy was mature. I was happy with the ending. Um, I really liked it. I didn't expect when we were having this conversation for that to be my highlight, but when I was rereading, The Last Olympian's what stuck out to me, and Beach Read by Emily Henry because I read a romance and I was like, wow, I liked it. Go me.
Mm-hmm.
And actually go Emily Henry for making this a good book series for me.
Yeah. I remember reading The Last Olympian as a kid when I read the series, and that being my favorite. And I also
Really?
remember rereading it and not reading the first books. Like, not starting over and rereading the whole series again, just reading that one over and over.
Do you
Because
remember what it was about it? Was it like a character or like what stood out to you?
I think what stood out to me was that it didn't, like you said, like it felt more like the plot flowed better.
Mm,
And I think I also liked Percy being a little bit older than he is.
yeah,
We've watched him grow up through the series, and I
yeah,
liked who he becomes in the last book, and also his relationship with Annabeth kind of like culminates in that last book. And I think
yeah.
that that was really what I enjoyed.
What I liked about it was the writing, but I hated Luke throughout the entire series. And then in book five, I'm like, oh, I feel bad for you. Like, you're doing good things now. Like you're trying really hard to make this better. I'm supposed to hate you. And I completely forgot about that aspect of
Mm-hmm.
Luke's story. Man, it just blew me away. Like I'm getting chills talking about it, but it's also a little cold in here, so I can't tell. But yeah, the last one's really, really well done. Really well done. Um, did you have a book, not necessarily a low light, but something that maybe you were expecting to like a little more and like didn't? Um,
Yeah, I think we both did.
I didn't know if
um,
you had another one that you were
um,
expecting.
no, I mean, you made me read Twilight. We can talk about Twilight.
I was just introducing you to a popular part of pop culture.
Uh huh. Yeah. I read Twilight this year. I will never read it again. I have experienced that book, and I will not be reading the rest of the series. It's just not gonna happen.
I'm glad I
Um,
bought those books from Goodwill.
I'm
Imagine if I
sorry.
had gotten them for you brand new.
Yeah. Um, I am sorry about that you spent money on buying me those books, but I like I gotta
I
do what's
will
best for my mental health, and it's not reading those books.
I will say I was not expecting for you to dislike it that much.
Mm,
Like I was expecting for you to not like it. I was. That's just how it goes, you know? But I was expecting it to almost be more like the movies for you, where it's kind of become a cult classic that they're like bad, but you still
yeah.
kind of have a good time watching it because you're like, why is this what's happening? Like, even Blake, my husband, is like, we could watch Twilight, not because he likes them. He likes making fun of them. That's what I thought it was going to be for you. And then it just really wasn't. So I think that wasn't my low light for the year, but it was my biggest surprise for the year.
Twilight is an insult to my intelligence. Like, it's. I'm too old for it. I am too old. I'm
Yeah,
too
you
old
didn't
and
get the
jaded.
nostalgia.
I'm like, this is ridiculous. Um, did you on the note of Twilight? This is a side tangent. Did you hear that she wrote a gender bent Twilight?
I just saw TikTok videos about that.
Yeah, so she wrote, I don't remember what it's called, but she wrote a gender bent Twilight where it's like everybody is the opposite gender to prove that Twilight is not misogynistic and it actually did the opposite.
Well, Anna, maybe you could read that
No,
one.
absolutely not. You could not pay me money to do that.
I don't know if I would want to read it because she had published other parts and I was too old for it. Like she did Midnight Sun.
Yeah.
But the time for me, Twilight had passed. There's like a novella from someone. Like I just wanted the OG four books in the series. I didn't reread it with you, and I should have. I'm curious if I will still feel that sense of my middle school girl self is thriving rereading it. Um, or if I'll be like, okay. I know you probably hope it's the second one. I still think it's going to be the first one
Yeah.
because I really liked reading it the first time. I liked the experience.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for reading it. I wonder what your Twilight trivia knowledge would be like now, even though you did really well the first time. I
Uh,
could give you harder ones.
yeah, I will say I've tried to erase it from my memory. I've tried to forget that that was a time in my life. Um,
It was last month. It was
it
like last.
was beginning of January.
Oh, okay.
It's been 2 months.
Mm, that's fair. I will be the bad guy and I'll talk about my low light
Yeah.
for the year. Um, I was really excited to read A Tempest of Tea. It just came out. It's by the same author who wrote We Burn the Flame,
Hunt the Flame.
right? Hunt the Flame. I had actually never read that book series or that duology, but I've always heard really good things about it, and I just haven't had the time to read it. And so when I saw that she was writing this and I was watching interviews with her and her husband, I was really, really, really excited about it. I really didn't enjoy it. It makes me really sad that I didn't like it because I wanted to. I think that there were some really good plot points. I think it was just executed in a way that I didn't enjoy very much. So I'm a little bummed about that. However, it did encourage me that, you know, I need to read We Hunt the Flame. So, all that being said, maybe this wasn't my cup of tea. Did you see what I did there?
Yeah.
Thank you. This wasn't my cup of tea. But I will check out We Hunt the Flame. So I think that this is still like a cool author that people should check out. This book wasn't what did it for me.
Mm,
So it was probably and also rereading Lore Olympus. I didn't like that either.
yeah.
Um, I think it was better as a serial series, actually, when I had to wait to see, ooh, what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's okay though. I
Yeah.
did it.
So what is you said you were halfway through a book?
I read so much of Crown of Midnight last night.
Really?
I read it. I didn't sleep for a long time. So I'm excited about that. I actually did realize though that we're not going to be recording that anytime soon. So Even though I want to see what happens, I think I'm going to pause it and read What Moves the Dead. So that way I don't forget because I realized that we're recording that at the end of the month.
Well,
So,
I was gonna say, I have to make a long drive this week, so I could listen to the audiobook of it. Start the
okay.
audiobook maybe.
Okay, that sounds good.
If we wanted to record that sooner and just like have it ready to go. You're getting a
Yeah.
little bit of our planning process.
This is our planning process. Yeah, because I never thought I would say this, but after reading a different book that I didn't like as much, I was like, Sarah J. Maas, I'm ready for you. Hit
Mm.
me with your story. Hit it. I'm ready. So,
So I started reading a book last night. I did not get 50% or halfway, but I got like 30% in. Where the Dark Stands Still. This one just came out February 27th, so it's only been out for a couple weeks. And I had seen this promoted on TikTok as a like folklore heavy, kind of has elements of Howl's Moving Castle, but a little bit dark. And I was very intrigued by that, and I needed something to kind of get me out of a potential book slump after reading something that just didn't hit. And I was like, well, I know I love House Moving Castle. I know I love folklore inspired things. Also, oh yeah, for fans of An Enchantment of Ravens, which is by Margaret Rogerson, and House of Salt and Sorrows, which is by Erin A. Craig. I've read both of those, and I really like both of those authors. Funny story, Erin A. Craig is a fan of my dog, Finto Bean. Um,
wow.
so she saw me reading one of her books in a video with Pinto, and she was like, I'm so excited that Pinto's reading my book. It was Small Favors, which is really, really good. I'm going on a tangent. Where the Dark Stands Still sucked me in. I only got 30%
Really?
in because Pinto wasn't feeling well and she really wanted snuggles. And so I had to be a mom for a little bit. But um I really enjoyed it. So it's
Mm,
definitely got Howl's Moving Castle is a good comparison if you think of it dark. Um it's a little bit Beauty and the Beast, but not really like it's kind of got themes of Beauty and the Beast. I'm not sure if I would say it's really a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it has themes of that. But it's more Howl's Moving Castle to me because there's a house that kind of has magic that responds to the main character, which is very Sophie coded, and I'm enjoying it so far. I don't know if my opinions will change, but that's what I'm currently reading.
that's fun. If we end up loving it, we should have a book club
Yeah.
because that's on my list for this year too.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
have the artwork that you said was in your copy though.
Pictures don't do it justice. The artwork is not in the book. It's just the book cover and the
Oh,
dust jacket is
yeah.
so beautiful. And you see it online, but almost like the way they printed it, it shimmers if you turn it in certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
And the back of the book is really pretty. And I've only ever seen the front. And so I was trying to send you a picture, but it didn't get the shimmery bits.
Yeah, the
All that
artwork
to
was
say.
part of what drew me in when the author was promoting it on TikTok. They were using artwork from that's inspired by the book, and that was kind of what piqued my interest from the very beginning.
Man. Okay. Adding that to this list for
Yeah.
this year. Well, it seems like we're doing well
Yeah.
on our book goal so far. I'm proud of us. Go
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
I wonder how I wonder how we'll do for our Q2 wrap up.
Yeah.
We're gonna do great.
We'll be fine.
We'll make it.
Yeah.
We're ahead. Anyway, but so all that being said, where are you guys at? Did you make reading goals for this year? Have you been meeting them? What was your favorite book? And was there a book that you were excited about and maybe it didn't turn out the way you were expecting? Do you have any more questions?
No.
Okay. Sorry, I'm taking all the
Yeah.
questions. But on that note, Anna,
Like and subscribe.
bye.
Bye.